Good afternoon. Happy Christmas. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. Happy birthday to you, even if it's not your real birthday. Tomorrow is my friend Anna's birthday. For example, I'm sure it's somebody's birthday today as well. Real birthday. Anybody on here, is it your real birthday today? It's that annoying time, isn't it, of having a birthday really close to Christmas. So your presents all get mixed up. It's kind of irritating, I suppose, for those people, but just what it is, right? Either way, today is the first day of the rest of your life. And if you are going to see family this Christmas time period, I feel obliged to say happy holidays or this holiday time or something like that, but it's Christmas time. There might be other holidays going on, but I don't celebrate them. I don't know about them, so why should I mention them? Anyway, happy Christmas time to all of you watching here. Yes, if you're going to visit family and friends to a certain extent, but family mostly, I think, usually, because you choose your friends, and you don't get to choose your family, do you? This Christmas time, then you are probably half expecting some confrontation, some clashing, some hard conversations. You know, what have you been going up to this year, and how has your life been going? Are you doing the things that we expect you to do? Have you achieved the things that you said you were going to do last time we saw you? All that kind of stuff that kind of gets annoying when family gets together. If the other members of your family are particularly judgmental, of course, which most are if they're not emotionally intelligent. It seems a bit of a harsh thing to say, really, doesn't it? But if they're not switched on to their own internal mindset, thought patterns, etc., which I would hope that everybody's in this group, especially people who have been watching my Midday Monday Mindset Mastery lives, will certainly understand what's going on inside your own head and how you've become programmed to be the person you are today by everything that's happened in your life up until this point. Because we all are. We are the brain that's in our heads is programmed and created by everything that's happened in our lives up until this point now. Now we can take control of things that happen from this point forward, but even if we do that, the choices that we make going forward from here, it's kind of difficult. There's not much space in here, but let's just say here's now, and here's at some point in the future. Let's just say this is a day in the future, for example. You know, so this is this time tomorrow, Tuesday morning, Tuesday midday, midday Tuesday. There's stuff that's going to happen over the next 24 hours that when you get to Tuesday will be a part of your new mind. Your brain at midday Tuesday is going to be different to your brain at midday on Monday, or quarter past midday on Monday. And everything that happens in between now and Tuesday at 12:15 will influence who you are, the new you that you will be 24 hours from now. Quite a lot of the time, none of us will know anything about what's going to happen over the next 24 hours to us. But we do have some control over what we choose to do and what we expose ourselves to, and etc. So, for example, if you haven't actually planned a trip, you're not going to suddenly find yourself at the top of Mount Everest between now and tomorrow. For example, you might find yourself at the top of Mount Snowdon between now and tomorrow. And if you haven't planned that, you could choose to do that. You could say, do you know what? I'm going to do that tomorrow morning. I'm going to drive up to Snowdon, and I'm going to climb. Is it Mount Snowdon? Is it Mount Snowdon? Anyway, I'm going to climb Snowdon tomorrow morning. There's nothing, just if you're in the UK at least, anyway. Nothing much to stop you doing that. There were people at the winter solstice yesterday at Stonehenge. They will have had a heck of an experience yesterday on the shortest day at Stonehenge. But those of us who weren't there didn't get to see that. I was starting to watch the movie King of Kings earlier, and there was an interesting bit of history about, I don't know how true and real it is and stuff, but assuming that there is vaguely close to history, there was bits of that history that I didn't know about Jesus' early life and stuff. So that was quite interesting. I haven't finished watching it yet, but and Pontius Pilate. So there's Roman. It's like the Roman invasion of that area of Israel, I guess, and taking over the temples and stuff. So that whole history again goes back thousands and thousands of years, doesn't it? Don't know why I was telling you that. Oh, because I'm learning. I've become a new person because I've learnt that since this morning. I didn't know that. My brain is now different from the person who woke up this morning because I've had that different experience. I've been messing around in Canva today, creating some new slides and having a look at new ways of doing things. And I found something on Zoom that allows me to share a virtual background and turn my camera off so that when I'm on Zoom, I can share a screen without actually sharing a screen. And then I can put a timer on that, for example. I'm not sure it's exactly what I wanted to do, but it's something that I've learned that I didn't know about yesterday. So it's a new part of my brain. It's a new memory for me. So yeah. So, and all of that comes about because that's how you've become who you are today. And if you're in this group, aware of how your brain has become who you are today. So you will be aware of the way that you react to things is not always under your control. You have emotional responses to things that happen and to things that other people say. So other family members will say things to you that will trigger you and make you feel, well, the classic thing is if your name, for example, is Catherine, and all your friends call you Kathy, and but your mother is the only person who ever says Catherine to you, and she says that in that tone of voice, and she'll say, Catherine! And immediately you'll go, oh, that's me as a little child. You'll suddenly go straight back to being a little child and being told off by your mother. And if one of your friends suddenly said to you, Catherine, you'd have that same response. It wouldn't be quite so bad because maybe they didn't say it in quite the same way and they haven't quite the same tone of voice. But as soon as you hear somebody calling you Catherine, assuming this is your name, of course, you'll suddenly feel that shrinking back into being a child, that reaction. But if you're aware of this, you can go, oh, there you go. That's me reacting like a child to that stimulus, that stimuli. And obviously you can say to your friend, oh, please don't do that. It reminds me of my mum when she was telling me off, and it makes me feel really uncomfortable. And you can have that conversation, but only if you realise what's going on, because you can't say, that reminds me of my mum and it makes me feel really uncomfortable. If somebody does it to you, you just have that reaction, and you might suddenly become angry or defensive in that situation. And react in a way that you wouldn't expect yourself to react. And then that will maybe cause conflict with that other person, and neither of you really know why there's conflict there all of a sudden. But as soon as you become aware of these things, this is awareness, choices, and an effort over time. It's where I talk about ACE. Becoming ACE is becoming aware, making different choices, and then putting effort in to make those choices become your reality going forward. So the first one is awareness. Oh, I reacted in a certain way, and I think I know why I reacted in that certain way. Or even if you don't know why you reacted in that way, you know that you've reacted in a certain way, so you can go, oh, that created an emotional response from me. So now, and by the way, this is what my Emotional Intelligence Explained podcast, my AI podcast, is all about, all this kind of stuff. So feel free to go and search for that on Spotify and download it and listen to it and stuff. It's not me, it's my alter ego, Scott. Talking about emotional intelligence. This is all emotional intelligence, is being aware of your emotions and being intelligent and intelligently dealing with your emotions when they come up and when they bubble up to the surface and become a problem potentially for you. So when you've reacted, you can then go, oh, I've reacted in a emotional way to that thing that was said. Maybe I don't know why I've done that. That's something maybe I'll explore later on. But for now, I can take control of that moment and I can decide I'm not going to react in that emotional way. I can still feel emotional about it. I can sit in and go, that made me feel uncomfortable. But then I can maybe say to the other person, that made me feel uncomfortable. I'm not sure why. But can we not explore that any further, or can we not talk about that subject now, or can we not take that tone of voice now, or something like that, or can we just make that whole situation a little bit better? So you have that intelligence to be able to do that. Now, if you're dealing with somebody who hasn't got all that intelligence, it's a little harder because they need to know, and so they won't necessarily be willing to adjust themselves to react in certain ways, to to not ask certain questions or say certain things that might upset you. So, but you have control over your reaction to the things that they say. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that you also have control over what you say to them. So you can control their emotional reactions a little bit, especially if you are aware, because if you watch them and they react emotionally or negatively or have some kind of emotional reaction to something you said, you can be aware of that and you go, oh, that's triggered something in them. Now, they might not want to explore that. They might not have the capacity to understand it. So don't try and kind of psychoanalyze them unless they're open to it. If they are open to it, then you can have that whole conversation with them. But most people are not. But you can recognize it and you go, oh, that was a touchy subject. Maybe I shouldn't bring that up again, or maybe I shouldn't word it that way, or try and word it in a different way, and then maybe things will be a bit different. So that's the sort of first level of this, is to understand that they've been programmed by everything that's happened in their life, and they're acting in an automated subconscious way to the world around them that they might not be aware of. They're just acting because those emotions have come up inside them and they haven't had the self-awareness yet to be able to deal with that scenario and situation, which I hope you would have. And if you're still struggling with that, let me know. So that's the first part, is you controlling yourself and you controlling how you act amongst other people. Now, the other part of this is, how can you control that environment better, so you can control them to a certain extent. So, for example, you can avoid certain topics that you know are going to cause problems, like, have you got a proper job yet? That kind of thing. Why haven't you got children yet? Are you going to marry your boyfriend? That type of thing. You know, you're getting old now. Oh, you're looking, I can see the wrinkles on your face, you know, that kind of thing. And why have you chosen to, I don't know, get that tattoo or get that piercing or something that, you know, your parents don't like or something? And have you given up smoking yet, for example? Not a bad thing, actually. You probably should do that. But some topic that you know causes you an emotional reaction, avoid it completely. Bring up different subjects, talk about different things. Don't mention anything about work. So, because even if you've got something that you're really proud of, that you think is fantastic, and you go to your parents and say, hey, this amazing thing has happened at work, but you know that whenever you've done anything like this in the past, they've been negative about it, just don't bring it up. Don't mention it to them. Because if you know they're going to be react negative to it, even if you think it's the most amazing thing in the world, and you know they're probably going to react negatively to it, just don't mention it. Because if you don't get into the conversation, they can't react negatively about it. So therefore, you can't get that emotional negative reaction to the thing that they're talking about. Of course, they may bring it up anyway, but then you can also just steer the conversation away and say, you know, things have happened or whatever, or I know that you're probably not going to be as excited about these things as I am, but let you know that things are going well or things are progressing in the right direction. I don't know. Obviously, it depends on your personal circumstances and your personal situation as to how you want to flow that sort of thing. But you get the general idea is avoid the topic, just move around it, light touches, try and say things that you think, or phrase things in the way that you think would be advantageous to them. So if they're saying, have you got a proper job yet? You go, yes, actually, I've got some things in the pipeline, which hopefully I'll be starting next year sometime. They don't need to know that you're not, or that, you know, they're not like proper jobs, for example. I saw a comedian, Jason Manford, on the Royal Variety performance last night, and he was talking about how, you know, obviously he's quite successful. He's doing the Royal Variety performance, and he was talking to his dad about, why don't you come and see me? But his dad's attitude is still, it's not a proper job. And your brother, who's a plumber, has got a proper job. Now, Jason Manford, of course, is earning a lot of money, a lot more than the plumber. But in their parents' perspective, the plumber is a proper job, and the stage comedian thing, even though it's paying more, is not a proper job. Even though he's presenting the Royal Variety performance, and he's meeting the Prince of Wales and the Prince and Princess of Wales, it's not a proper job as far as the dad's concerned, because the dad's grown up in a world where like manual labour is a proper job. He did his whole big thing as well. It's really good. If you're in the UK and you've got an opportunity to go and watch the opening monologue from Jason Manford, it's really, really cool, because he talks about how he's now got posh children, or middle class children as he refers to them as, but he does also say posh a few times in there as well. And he said, and his thought process is, and this is brilliant for exactly this conversation, is, would I, when I was a child, be friends with my children? And he's like, I don't think I would be, because they'd be the posh kids, and I'd be the council kid who wouldn't want to have anything to do with those posh kids. And those are his own children, so he wouldn't get on with his own children if he was their age when he was their age. So I mean, I hope that makes sense. He sort of went through that a little bit better and make a bit more sense than I just made it. And then of course he talks about his wife. So it's obvious his wife is a sort of middle, possibly upper class. I don't know what she is. But how when she does a packed lunch, it comes in a wicker basket and it's got like couscous and hummus and, you know, and broccoli and carrots and this kind of stuff. Whereas his brother, who's a plumber, turns up and he's got skips and burgers and tango and stuff in kombucha is his wife's standard, as it were, for picnics, whereas his brother's very much 7-Up, Sprite, Coke, sandwiches, etc. And so it's just that different levels of expectation and where you've grown up and what your background is. So again, it's that same sort of thing. It's that this person, for this person, his wife, this is normal. It would be weird to turn up to a picnic and do crisps and Coke and sandwiches, for example. It's like, well, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you have a nice, you know, bit of brie and some crusty bread and some kombucha in a champagne bottle, for example, with wine glasses and flutes and stuff? Why wouldn't you do that? Because that's what she's always done. That's what's normal for her. But for the plumber people, it's like, oh my God, that's ridiculously posh. I don't even know what this food is. Ugh, it's horrible, etc., etc. So you got this clash of families that don't see eye to eye, and you have to be emotionally aware to be able to navigate those pathways and just avoid the topics or skirt around the topics. And of course, the ultimate version of this is to not spend time with them. There's a great girl on Facebook, and I can't remember her real name, but she does these little skits every time. So are you coming over to family? Are you coming to visit us for Christmas? She goes, no. Like, why not? It's because you're really annoying. It's like, she's American, of course. And so we saw all this stuff with Thanksgiving, because in America, basically Thanksgiving is kind of Christmas, like pre-Christmas, Christmas kind of thing. But it's more, Thanksgiving is much more about getting all the family together in one place than Christmas is. Christmas is much more about the small, you know, the local family, I suppose you could say. So she's very sort of like matter-of-factly saying, no, why would I spend Christmas with you lot? You're annoying and you wind me up. So why would I waste my time spending it with you? So that's the sort of more extreme version of this, is you just cut them out of your life completely. Not completely, obviously. That's ridiculous to cut out people in your life completely. But cut down the amount of time you spend with them. So you just go for an afternoon rather than going to stay overnight, for example. Obviously, it depends on your circumstances, your situation, the family dynamic and all that kind of stuff. But bear it in mind, you know, it's like, could I maybe just spend less time with them if they really wind me up that much? And that's basically it. Understand your own emotional wellness, emotional well-being, your emotional intelligence, your own emotions and how they come up and how to deal with them yourself. Recognize that they are acting subconsciously on emotions that they haven't chosen. They are running on their subconscious or their unconscious reactions to things. They are saying things that are based on their experiences and their life story up until that point. Don't try and reprogram them, for God's sake, especially not over Christmas. Just don't worry about it. Avoid the subjects, work around the subjects, say the things that they want to hear more than saying what you feel is good stuff. And then just limit the amount of time you spend with them. That's the final kind of part of that. So hopefully that all made sense. It was helpful and useful. Let me know what you think. Comments below. I think I want to put this one on YouTube. This is a good one to upload to YouTube, because it's good, proper, practical tips for people at this Christmas time sessions. So That's all from me. Big love from Big John. There we go. Mwah. Take care of yourselves. Remember also your birthday breathing, because if you get like panic attacks and you get emotional overwhelm, or you're feeling like you're stressing out completely, take a little bit of time. Now you can do, there's two things you can do here. Well, there's multiple things you can do, obviously, but two things I'm going to suggest right here. Now, first thing is just to take some deep breaths. Like, if you're with people and you can't kind of get up and go out of the room, and you can't maybe take this breathing exercise to the next level, you can just do it while you're sat in the seat. So you can literally just, while you're sat there, obviously in a time when you're not actually talking, but you can just do a long deep breath in through your nose and then a long deep breath out through your mouth. And just allow your body to switch back into its sympathetic nervous system. I can never get those ones right the right way. Parasympathetic. Whichever one it is. Fight or flight. Move it from fight or flight, because that's where your panic and the stress levels are high, into rest and recover. So the breathing exercise does that. So taking a long deep breath, getting that oxygen into your lungs, allowing your lungs to access that oxygen, and then pump that oxygen through your blood back into your brain, which also allows you to think more clearly as well. So allowing that to happen forces your body to go back into rest and recover mode instead of fight or flight mode. So you can just do that one long breath in through your nose, hold it for a few seconds, and then just that'll just calm your whole body down. Now, obviously, that's quite kind of noticeable me doing that. But I mean, you can. In fact, if the nose is a little bit too obvious, also depends if you've got a cold or cold as well. You can also just take it in through your mouth. So, deep breath in, hold it for a few seconds, and then deep breath out. I mean, that literally calms you down almost immediately. I feel myself, having got all excited about this and got my excitement levels up while I'm talking to you, immediately I could feel my whole body calming down as soon as I did that. So it's just a long breath in, hold it for a few seconds, let that body. So the explanation I use for this is like a train. While you're waiting on the train platform, the train comes in. There's loads of people on the train. You can't get on the train straight away. You've got to stand back and let the people come off the train first before you can get on the train. And it's the same for the oxygen. That oxygen is coming into your lungs. It's waiting on the platform. The blood comes in. The blood is full of carbon dioxide molecules. The carbon dioxide molecules need to get out of the blood, and then the oxygen that you've just taken in through the breath then needs to get into the blood, so then the blood can go up to your brain. So that's, just imagine that train. So waiting on the platform, blood's coming in. Carbon dioxide is coming off, oxygen's going on. You're breathing out the carbon dioxide, and that oxygen is now going up to your brain. Gives you a bit more mental clarity as well. So that'll help you to calm down and turn your body from that fight or flight, that stress, panic mode, into your rest and recover mode almost instantly. So that's the sort of the subtle one. But if you can get away and do like the proper one, the one I normally teach you, the birthday breathing, which is 5 in through your nose. And then last one, long one, and then hold it. Put his hand on your heart. Recognize that your heart is beating, and feel that beating heart through your thing while you're holding your breath at this point. And then on your left hand, you light the candles on your birthday cake while you're holding your breath. So I'm talking, obviously, so my breath is coming out at the moment, but I would be holding it while I counted through these fingers. So I'll just get back to that point again so you can see what's going on. So do 5 through your nose. So then you're holding it while you're counting that 5, while you're lighting the candles, and then you blow out the candles and feel the breath on the tips of your fingers. So that also takes your thought processes away from your brain into your fingers. And say happy birthday to yourself. Send yourself some love. And then of course you can take all that stuff and turn it into some love. And send that. Actually, I do that normal thing. What's one thing that's making you smile recently? What's one thing you've done recently? What's one thing that you're grateful for in your life recently? And what's one thing you're going to do over the next period of time? And then send some love to some people in your life. Send some love in, and send some love in. That's kind of how that all works. So you get some love and send a bit of love to the people in your life, and then make sure it's sent as love. That's kind of how that whole thing works. But that first one actually does a really good job. And if you want to take that first one even maybe one step further, because again, if you're in an environment where you're with other people, you can do what they call square breathing, which is if you look at a window or a door, because it's a square frame, and you take your deep breath in up one side of the window. So you're looking at this screen that you're looking at right now. So you take your breath in on one side, hold it along the top, and then breathe out on the way down on the other side, and then hold, and then breathe in, hold, and then breathe out, and then hold, and then breathe in, hold, and breathe out. So you can do that just any square screen, window, door, anything you can think of. You can just use that as a timer thing to sort of, and also takes your focus away from whatever it is you're focusing on. You can look at just the window. So those are 3 techniques. I actually showed you 3 in the end there, that you can use to get your body from fight or flight into rest and recover, should a panic session ensue, or just to calm yourself down when people around you are driving you mad, and just to keep yourself under control so you don't explode and have a massive row, because you don't want that to you at Christmas. No. So let me get to know what you get on with that. Let me know if there's any good tips that you can you got from that, and let me know how your Christmas was. Tell me in the comments below, especially those people on YouTube. Hi, how you doing? Hope you're well, and let me know if there's anything else you want me to touch on. Take care of yourselves. Mwah. Send you all the love from Big John. There you go. It's me sending you the love for a happy Christmas and a fabulous New Year. Merry Christmas and a happy New Year. Take care, everyone. See you next Monday, actually, before New Year. Take care. Bye. My slow connection in the way of the finish button. Bye.